Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Massive drama going down last night with Rossy officially confirming that he's out of the Cloud9 team despite a great individual performance and a very commendable result for Cloud9 at the recent Red Bull Homegrounds. Rossy is gone as the in-game leader of the team. Why? How has this happened again with Cloud9? Especially after all the yay drama of a couple of years ago. Seems to be happening again with Rossy, who was looking like their best player by far not that long ago. Lots of community reaction here last night, and if this doesn't improve their team, they will be roasted so badly this season, because when it finally seemed like Cloud9 were putting together something reasonably competent, then it's all fallen apart yet again. How has this happened? Very much interested to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, a couple of things that I forgot to talk about yesterday. Floor is officially out of Shopify Rebellion, so seems almost guaranteed now that, well, the announcement for Apex is going to be happening very soon indeed. So, yeah, I saw this yesterday, but I forgot to talk about it. We also saw this from G2. They confirmed that Shazam is gone from their roster, of course. Player, content creator, and, well, maybe it's perfect timing for him to go to Cloud9, but seems kind of unlikely. Wishing the best for Shazam, but yeah, he's officially gone going into the new season. But we're just going to dive straight into this Rossy stuff, because there's been so much reaction to it that we just got to begin here today, I think. And that's with Rossy saying the following: released from Cloud9, looking for a team, smiley face. Now, I don't know if he's feeling so smiley face inside, but he did then clarify this: I have no hard feelings towards anyone a part of Cloud9. This was strictly a team decision. I am forever grateful for the opportunity to get to play with these guys. I know that I'm screwed out of a spot for competing this year, but I've been streaming every day and will continue to do so, so please support me there. Hopefully I get a chance on another team. Thanks everyone for the overwhelming support, but I'm not perfect either, so please don't spread hate to anyone, Cloud9 management, coaching staff, or the players. So you know, admitting maybe some fault on his side, but I still find this whole situation absolutely remarkable. Sincerely and forever, Rossboss. Now, I think he'll be back, right? He will be back, and there will probably be another team, maybe in the VCT, that picks him up this year. When it was Ye a couple of years ago getting dropped for role issues, and which obviously translated into money issues for Cloud9, all of their decisions over the last few years have been very confusing in multiple organizations, and well, it continues here, I would say, in the VALORANT side. These were the performances, and I think this was the Red Bull Homegrounds tournament a couple of weeks ago now. Of course, it was T1 that got the win in the end over Cloud9 in the grand finals, but T1 looking pretty mega as of late. And Rossy had the best numbers in the entire tournament. I mean, it wasn't even especially close. He had a 1.34 rating. He had, 240 ACS, not the highest, but definitely up there, a 1.5 KD, and he was in-game leading the team. Now, I did mention this at the time, that often when you see an in-game leader who is absolutely frying, it tends to mean that their in-game leading style needs some refining, because usually it means that, the team is being set up for them to succeed, not necessarily so much for the team to succeed. But, it was kind of working, right? And at the end of the day, if Rossy is in-game leading the team and he is, asking his teammates to do certain things, and then he's going to be the man to take over the game, then, if it works, I guess. I think usually that's what you see. Now, Rossy's improved a lot over the last couple of years as well. I was kind of impressed by him back in the day on TSM. Certainly last year, I thought he got substantially better. This year, he's now back in the Americas. I thought definitely deserved a spot. Now, is he the best in-game leader? I'm not sure, but from an individual level, he's absolutely an incredible talent. And I think there's a question as to whether Cloud9, even from like the internal player POV, could have handled this far better, because, maybe if they didn't think Rossy was the best in-game leader, there's a question on whether they could have said, okay, Rossy could maybe stay, but, we're going to make some other change for the in-game leader. But of course, that's not, it seems, how things went down behind the scenes. So this is what Rossy clarified with last night. I'm doing great, guys. Don't worry. I got an amazing opportunity to play for C9, even if it was only for a short time. Whatever happens will only happen for the best. I truly believe that. I know you guys may be frustrated. It'll all be okay. All I ask of you guys is to watch my stream when I stream ranked. Don't have to sub or anything. But this was the interesting one. Lastly, I only found out 2 to 3 hours ago that I was being removed. So, it seems like this all happened very quickly. Rossy found out, he did the tweet, and then very shortly afterwards, Cloud9 confirmed it themselves as well. But most players are like, what are you talking about, right? Rossy was their best player. It seemed like they'd finally made some competent decisions. Rossy comes in, but seemingly the team, his teammates, were not happy with this, and we'll explain kind of C9's reaction here in a second. But many players obviously are coming out and saying, like, what are you talking about? Rossy was like your top man. Why are you getting rid of him? As Asuna says, praying this is somehow a joke. This I thought was pretty funny from Boostio, right? Because obviously a couple of years ago, when the whole Ye drama happens, he was dropped for what they called role issues. And look, it's kind of role issues this time, but maybe for real. Like, I don't think this is money related that Rossy is gone. It seems to be because the team basically didn't like him. And Rossy has been known for having a bit, you know, of an abrasive personality maybe. Not everyone's going to get along with him. But this is where Cloud9 need to, you know, be intelligent about the decisions they make. Because on some level you could kind of have seen this coming. But equally, if the players are coming to you and saying, hey, we don't like Rossy, we want him gone, there's a question of whether you actually say, all right, let's do that. Or whether you say, well, Rossy's an excellent player. Maybe we think about building more around Rossy for the future rather than taking an alternate approach. But anyway, that's what's happening there. Boostio says role issues have basically take the mic. Even Itsu was talking about it from T1, of course, who beat Cloud9 in the finals of the Red Bull Homegrounds in Berlin a couple of weeks ago. And I think he's talking about this anyway. Says, you know, what's happening? Obviously, there's people in the replies. Because when Rossy was on T1, you know, he did a commendable job. They decided to go down the full Korean route, and it seems to be working out so far so good. But it's just a very frustrating one for Rossy and for the community at large, really, because he's been dropped at a very inopportune time. If you were expecting this circumstance to happen, I mean, they've been playing with each other now for quite some time. If there was going to be a problem with his in-game leadership style and these other things, they probably could have found out about it earlier and discussed it earlier. But yeah, Zelsis says, like, Faker walked over to me on, like, to see me on my knees. I just replied that my T1 Arab Prince is gone. And, you know, he said, okay, it's Cloud9, just a terrible team. So thought that was kind of funny. And obviously Zelsis, who was maybe going to be on Cloud9 now a couple of years ago, he was talking about, you know, because he kind of like built the roster they were going to form there, and then he eventually went to Sentinels. But yeah, he puts together an interesting team of Rossy, FNS, Tens, Vanity, and of course, Ye. Players, of course, that have had some C9 experience over the last few years. But of course, many of these guys, of course, now long gone. So we did see some other reaction to this, actually, from Purist, who then says, yeah, Rossy's been released. It looks like Mitch is going to be replacing him, which is just so hilarious to me that they're bringing him back again. Now, to be fair, Rooney says, look, multiple teams have made some off-season decisions that the community decided was a terrible move. If you don't have any internal communication to a team, you don't know what's going on. Sats don't mean anything. It's a general statement. And he says, look, 100% of tier 1 players are insane players under the right team, and maybe they just don't click. So, like, I totally get it. Of course, understandable from Rooney. He's been on that Cloud9 team. He's been around in the past. But, look, it's a question on whether this is a good or a bad decision, because historically, when C9 have made moves like this, it's not especially ended especially well. But this is what they said on it yesterday. Earlier today, Rossy was informed we won't be continuing with him as part of our Cloud9 team. We're going to release him from the contract after months of practice, including our bootcamp in Korea. The players and coaches informed Cloud9 management they felt the team chemistry wasn't working and his style of in-game leading did not mesh with how the team wanted to play. The decision was made unanimously by our players and coaches on the team. Rossy's a phenomenal player, but he wasn't the best fit, and wish him in his best in the future endeavours. So very interesting. Now, are they necessarily wrong to do this? Not necessarily, but I do think it's interesting that they played with him for months of practice, and he was in-game leading the team for months, and then I guess they played this big tournament, and then they decided, all right, it's not going to work. But yeah, the fact that the players and the coaches have come together to agree with this, we know that Rossy is not necessarily the easiest guy to work with, but the idea of all the players kind of like throwing him under the bus here maybe, and then the coaches saying, all right, yeah, you know what, guys, fair enough, we're going to get rid of him. Like, you know, as I said earlier, there's an option to say, if I was the coaching staff, I'd say, okay, maybe Rossy isn't the best in-game leader for the team. Maybe his in-game leadership style isn't going to bring us to the top because, you know, the way he structures things, which I totally understand. That might be fair enough. But equally, he's pretty damn good. So dropping him entirely creates problems there. I would have considered, is there some other player that we can remove, change the roles around, bring in Mitch again, maybe Rossy stays, but not the in-game leadership role, but seemingly no, and that's maybe why it was quite powerful for the team, let's say the 4 other players to come together and say, hey, we're like, you know, we're basically forming a mutiny here, we're going to overthrow Rossy and he's going to be out of the team, and then maybe there was no other option there for Cloud9 other than to make this change, and then Cloud9 obviously confirm as well that Mitch is back on the team. them. So Rossy's gone, Mitch is back on the roster. They've played with Mitch before. Like, I honestly can't believe the way that Cloud9 operate. It's so entertaining to watch this organization. It's kind of embarrassing as well, but wow, sometimes it's entertaining, right? Because look at this that Zoro Nin put together last night, and these are the tenures of certain players on the organization. And so many players were there for some time, and then they were gone, and then they've come back. So, for example, Rooney was a player, then he was an in-game leader for the team, then he was gone, then he was back, then he was gone again. The same thing for Vanity. He IGL'd the team, he was gone, he was back, he was gone again. And, you know, it's the classic, really. Zeppa's been around this team now for ages, obviously, as we know. He's still there. Ye was there for some time and was gone. Curry was there for some time and was gone. Zelsis, MCE is the coach. Cupid, of course. Jake was there and gone. Imi, of course, coaching the team until today. Whippy was there and gone. And then Oxy and Moose and Rossy and Vic, obviously, on the roster. But, yeah, seemingly those guys. Zeppa, obviously, like, you know, Imi as the coach, and then Moose and Vic and Oxy came together to say, all right, you know, we're not happy with this, we're going to make some changes. But the fact that they're going to bring back Mitch as well is just so hilarious to me, really, that, you know, Mitch is back on the team again, leading after, obviously he was there, like, as a brief sub-in or whatever, but, like, he's back on the team again after a couple of years away. Absolute scenes, really. So, as Zelsis says, and also he's going to take the mick here, right, and say, wow, Cloud9 doing the casual plus vanity, minus vanity, plus vanity, minus vanity, and they did it with Rooney. Now they're doing it with Mitch as well. So, like, you know, what are we doing here, right? And is it an idea that in, you know, a few months they say, you know what, Rossy? Are bad, you know, welcome back to Cloud9. Like, would I be surprised? I would be semi-surprised, but I wouldn't be massively surprised knowing how Cloud9 tend to operate. So, tweet your thoughts in the comments below. Is this decision going to prove to be the correct one? I can see the merits in it, but I just think, again, it's difficult for Rossy, the timing of this whole situation, 100%, and is this actually a good move? I don't think they're making the best move they could have made here, all things considered. And if the team doesn't perform, and I don't expect it to be excellent, really, I don't think they'd have been excellent with Rossy, but I don't expect this move to make them seriously better. And if they're not, then they're going to get clowned by the community this year. There's no doubt about that. So very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.